So, we're going to get back to working on the BMW because I still really want to go drifting and I'm still not done with the drift car. But it's time to move on to the roll cage because I don't have any more bolt-on parts and we need to get the paint and the roll cage needs to get done so I can paint the interior of the car, so I can paint the outside of the car. Because I like my projects finished and painting's part of it. So we got our rule book out again. On to the roll cage. So there's some important things. This is just the Formula Drift Pro Technical Regulations 2019 US version 1.0. Yeah, I'll be done in 2019. It just started. So there's some important things to read through in here. I highly recommend reading it yourself. I tuck my tag in. Okay. Nice thing about tucking your tag in is you get to pat yourself out on the back. It's usually the only ones I get. Roll cage still attached to the chassis unibody at 8 points. Gussets can't be any thicker than 0.125. No portion of the cage may permeate the firewall. It's got to be fully contained in the driver compartment. The padding has got to be SFI approved. This is one of the really important ones. The radius of bends in the roll cage hoop, measured at the center line of the tubing, shall not be less than 3 times the diameter of the tubing. So we're using 1.5" 095 wall DOM, and my 1.5" die has a 4.5" center line radius. So we meet the minimum. Welding shall conform to American Welding Society D1.1.2002 Structural Welding Code. I'm gonna try. I ain't no welder. Do it anyway. Roll cage material. No HREW, guys. No HREW. Seamless. SAE 1020 or 1025. Steel tubing. DOM or chromoly. I wish I could afford chromoly. DOM's already a stretch. The main hoop. It's gonna 20 feet of it's $130. The main hoop's like 11 feet. The car needs almost 80 feet of tube just for the cage. Do some math. So anyway, we're gonna start with the main hoop because that's all I have pipe for. I have like 20 feet. We can get the main hoop, maybe one kicker, or actually probably the diagonal in the main hoop. It's gotta be from top of driver's head down to the other side of the main hoop. We'll get into that later. But yeah, we'll start with the main hoop. Maximum of 4 bends in your main hoop, 4 bends only, totaling 180 degrees plus or minus 10 degrees. So let's we're gonna clean up our tube and get after it. And I'll show you how to bend some tube, or what I know of bending tube, which is everything I've learned from the Fabricator series on YouTube. That's where I got all my tube bending knowledge. That guy's a really good fabricator. Okay, everybody, here we go. This is going to be the first step in building our cage for the E36. This we're going to make a 90-degree cheater out of, which is going to tell us where all the starts of our bends are going to be in all of our tubes throughout the whole car. I like to build a new cheater for whichever tube I'm using. If I change wall thickness, I want a new cheater. If I change diameter, I want a new cheater. I build a cheater per project actually, so. Even if it's the same tube size. All these dies wear out, things change. So the first thing we're gonna do is load this into the bender, and we're gonna mark the back of this die, where this tube in the back of this die is. And then we're gonna bend at 90. And that mark is gonna be referencing the start of our bend for all our bends throughout the whole project. Just keep watching, you'll see. Just go watch the Fabricator series because he's way better at explaining it than I am. He's like I keep saying, he's a really good fabricator and he's a really great teacher. And a lot of your guys' benders might be different. Mine, this is the follower, this is the shoe, I guess. I could be wrong. Mine is fixed. A lot of the other benders, this part moves and the follower is stationary, but mine's the other way around. Now that we got our cheater pipe loaded in the bender, we got all the slack taken out of our bender. This is a JD Squared Model 4 bender. They don't have a, you can't change the degree wheel. The degree wheel's fixed. Some of their other ones you can rotate the degree wheel to 0. I don't have a 0. Part of it's because this back pin, this I forget what you call this. I'm horrible with these names. That part in the back, you can move it to any one of these different holes in case you need to hold your tube right in a bend. So they kind of let this one just float. So, but anyway, when you pull all the slack out of the bender, it's already all the way up on 17 degrees. So we're going 90. So 107 degrees we need. We'll bend it out once we get to the spring back. This tube's gonna want to spring back. You're gonna have to bend it further than 90 and let it spring back. Your spring back will be different on every kind of tube. I've owned this bender a long time. I don't think it's probably had 200 feet of tube ran through it. Whoops. So yeah, right now it's at 97 degrees. It'll spring back. The lock still caught it. Now it's sprung back. And 3, that sprung back 4 degrees. So that's 107, that's our 90. Let's see how much it springs back though. Spring back 7 degrees. I'm just trying to sneak up on 107. That's gonna be our 90. I don't want to go past it. You can't, there's no unbending. There's just starting over. That's 105. That says 106. We'll check it, see what it looks like. It's got to be pretty close to 90. Actually, it looks like we need to go about another degree or so. I don't know if you can see that. Just a touch further. Let's see what that gives us. No, still need to go about another degree. It's so close. For a manual bender, it's a little easier to sneak up on that number with all your bends. I mean, you get used to this one, but it's definitely a little trickier. You can go past it really easy, stomping on the throttle, but I have, trust me. I'm like, whoa, I didn't want a 180. I just get excited bending shit, and then it's too bent. like this probably is right now. Let's look. Ooh, that's perfect. This is gonna be our cheater. Our next step is gonna be we're gonna transfer this line all the way around the pipe. And since that line's on there a little crooked, I'm gonna load it back in the bender and see exactly what point of the line I want. So we're gonna transfer this mark so it's top and bottom, and then we're gonna take it over to the chop saw and cut from both sides. And I'll show you why here in a second. And again, I learned all this from the Fabricator series. If that would have been around, I wasn't watching YouTube when I bought this bender. I don't think YouTube was a big thing then. Had it been, I would have learned how to use it a lot quicker. It cost myself a little less in bends. Don't worry about you making mistakes though. Those bends get used on all sorts of stuff. All the mistakes I've made building stuff for customers' cars end up on my cars. I find a way to use them. That's why I don't really get to bend tube for my own stuff. All right, I'm gonna take this over to the chop saw. So here's what we did with the pipe. Come on, camera. Focus. Focus. Yeah. So we just cut a slit in it, not all the way off, just a slit. All this is for is to hook your tape measure into. And so we don't lose the Sharpie mark, because this is the start of our bend for this whole project. Start of bend. Right here. I'll show you how it's gonna work. Where's my Sharpie? So let's just call this some arbitrary line right here, the center of our pipe. That's the center of our pipe. We're gonna, damn it. I gotta take this call. Stand by. Hello? Okay, we're back. Gotta answer the side job calls when they come through because these cars aren't free. So, where was I? We got our arbitrary center mark of a tube. This is what we're calling it. We're calling this center of tube for this fictitious thing we're building right here. I'm just using this as an example. So you're gonna take your cheater, say we wanna stay inside this body line, okay? You wanna run your cheater over here until it runs into the side. That's where you need to start your bend. Lost my Sharpie again. So you're gonna run your pipe into your obstacle, your cheater bend, and you're gonna mark where that cut is, which is the start of your bend. Oh my God. Hello? It's a Bmw E36. Yeah, I'm building a roll cage for it right now. Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, I'm in my shop. Up in yeah, probably. He must have been. Alright, neither did I. Alright, that's funny. Yeah. This weekend's full. Is it back at your shop? Okay, cool. Well, we need to get a filter list then. You got a new Mini? Nice. Okay. What's the skid steer? Okay. Yeah. Oh yeah, dude. Oh yeah. Yeah, just one. Oh yeah, they're nice, man. They got some nice trucks. Oh yeah. Oh, shitty. Oh wow. Yeah, it is. I know. I started a YouTube channel. He's missing out. Yeah. I'm building all my drift car and just building shit. You know. Yeah. I mean, I walk around my shop all day building shit, talking to myself anime. I just film it and edit it now. Well, go check it out. I'll send you a link. Yeah, subscribe to my channel. Dude, I got like, yeah. I'm hopeful. I'm just gonna keep running with it. Yeah. Oh yeah. I'm supposed to be working on his truck this weekend, but he hasn't called me. I got a fiberglasses. He just put a new motor in it. Yeah. I'm gonna just re-fiberglass the one fender and headlight area and paint both fenders. Yeah. That's all I'm gonna do. I'm trying to do a bunch of side work because I'm building this drift car. My plan is to take it to as many race events and get my Pro-Am license, all while driving it to every event and filming it. Yeah, just with like my Challenger and shit on the street, not on a track. No, you go both directions. Yeah, like I think Monroe they do like figure 8. Really? Ricky Bobby. Oh, I'm sure. Yeah, he seems like that kind of guy, dude. Right. Woo. Right on. Nice. Yeah, I'm trying to gain some sponsors and stuff too, so I can go all in on this thing too. I'd like the Hemi V8 this thing. Yeah, it's a runner. I really don't want to spend the money on like turboing the BMW power plant or anything because I need it to be reliable because I plan on driving it to its events. So I need it. Yes, I'm gonna drive it to the event, smash the event, and then drive the piece of shit home. Or try it. That's gonna be the premise of my filming, so people will actually want to watch. You gotta have drama, man. Yeah, I will. I'll send it to you. But yeah, that's what I'm doing with this car, and I'm gonna try and gain some sponsors and stuff along the way. So yeah, I got some J&S development stickers on here. Yeah. All right. Well, it sounds like I need to come take a. Is everything at the shop? Come by and make a filter list. All right. Is the battery good and everything? You want? I'll throw a load test on it. See if it says. Okay. All right, man. All right, we'll do. Bye. More work. I need more work. So, where was I? Arbitrary center mark of tube of fictitious thing we're building. Start of bend from the cut in our cheater pipe. This is E36 cheater pipe for DOM. So, then you just measure in between these marks, which is 11.5 inches. You'd start from the center of your tube. Make sure when you mark your tube, this fictitious tube, you measure out your 11 inches. Make sure you mark what side of the line the bend's gonna be on. You need the bend on this side of the line. If you put the bend on this side of the line, it's not gonna work. Trust me, I've tried it a lot. Still hasn't worked. Like welding without a ground. I try all the time. Still doesn't fucking work. So, anyway, it's like $12 cheater. Let's bend up some more money and put a main hoop in this car. Yeah. Well, we're gonna try this. Hopefully you guys can see. It doesn't look like you can see shit. It looks like I'm working in a dungeon, which, pretty close. It's dry though and it has heat. Concrete floors, those are nice. We need to find the center of this main hoop. So I guess we need to know the width of the car. It's 38.5 inches. I took the sunroof out of my car just so I could get this cage up higher and out of the way and make it easier to build the cage. And I don't like sunroofs. We need to know the width of this car and the height of the cab so we know how long of a piece of tube we need. So this is 38.5 inches. And I'm gonna go all the way to the floor. And that's 45. I need a calculator. I don't do so well with the math. I would have double checked regardless. Yeah, we need 124 inches of pipe. But anyway, we're gonna mark a center mark up here. 38.5. I still need my calculator. 19.25. We're gonna use blue tape where we're gonna put all our marks just so we can change our marks, move our marks, not leave our marks when we're done. So that is gonna be the center of our tube at 19.25. It's dark in here. Might have to remove that back window. I'm just checking it from the side. Never hurts. That's gonna be our center. Now this is what the cheater's for. You're gonna take your cheater and run it over to and tie it against the side of the car. We need a piece of tape. We need another piece of tape. Keep in mind, I've never built a roll cage. I just built bumpers and rocker guards and stuff like that. This will be my first cage attempt. So we're just gonna run the bend tight into the car, tight into the side of the car, and mark where we cut our tube earlier. That's the beginning of our bend. That is what we mark, and that mark goes right to the back of the die, and that's where the bend goes. So from the center of this tube, our first bend is going to be at 14.75. Hey, get yourself a protractor, angle finder, whatever you want to call it. We need to figure out what angle we need to bend now that we know where the start of it is. So just get a simple angle finder, make sure there's no metal on it. And this says that we need a 63-degree bend right here. I'm gonna write that right on the car. 63 degrees. You guys get to watch me teach myself. 63 degrees. So 90 minus 63 equals 27. So that's what this next bend's gonna be, 27 degrees. Because this can't be more than 180 degrees. So this bend has to equal 90 degrees. So then we'll figure out where the next bend's gonna start. I'm gonna move so you guys can see. See that fucking pan skills? So right there is right on 90. I'm gonna mark the top of that, and then we use our cheater pipe again. Kind of gotta eyeball it and imagine where it's gonna be. There's gotta be a better way to figure that out. Actually, since that's from the center of the tube, I should be able to figure this bend from the end of tube up. The problem is if you just measure all of these from the center, this pipe's gonna grow when you bend it here, which is gonna move this mark down. You'd have to know your cost of material, which is not something I'm very good at figuring out. So I don't want to do it that way because the cost of mistakes with the cost of this material is expensive. I just want to do it once. Oh, we're gonna draw out our roll cage and then go bend it. That's what we're building. All right, this is gonna be the main hoop of the car. If I can pull it off. Got the center marked out on it. We got 123 inches of material. 61.5 inch center. So our first bend is going to be 14.75 away from that. Now if you remember, that was tight up against the car. We want to build ourselves a little bit of tolerance for my human error. Whew. We're going to try and keep it to a minimum. And so tech guys can inspection mirror or whatever it is they want to do, feel, poke, look, inspect tech, so they can see what's going on up there. So we need to bring that in a little bit. We're going to build this. We're just gonna go for a 1/2 inch tolerance, which would be nice. So 14.25 is gonna be the start of the first bend. Don't forget to mark which way your bends, what side of the line your bend's gonna be on. Like I'll show you. So on this side, the bend needs to be on this side of the line. And on this one, it needs to be on the other side of the line. And we'll load it in the bender and bend it to 63 degrees. Step 1, 2, 3, 4, whatever step we're on. That's why the Challenger is up in the air. All right. No turning back now. 63 degrees, and we started at 17. Ouch. Seems to have about 5 degrees of spring back. Well, that should be 63 degrees, so I'll spare around and do the other one. I lost my mark. Gonna need something to hold that end up. I don't want to mess this up. Okay, we got some pretty high-tech stuff going on over there. Now that that end's taken care of though, we got to line up the tube to make sure it doesn't end up, the legs don't end up off from each other, unparalleled from each other. So we need our angle finder. We need to figure out what angle the die is sitting at, since my bender just kind of floats around. When it stops bouncing, it's sitting at about a degree. There's 0. And that reads about a degree the other way, so it's got to come up just a bit. Okay. This angle finder takes a long time to stop bouncing. I don't like that. They both say a degree now though, so we're gonna go for it. Going for 63 degrees again, which took me, with the initial 17 and about 5 degrees of spring back, took 85 degrees. When you're trying to duplicate bends, I was trying to remember what you did to the last one. All right. Now we need to figure out where to put our 27 degree angle bends. Main hoop's starting to look like something. I'm gonna get to go drifting someday, like when the radiator hoses come for the Challenger. So far, it's looking decent. I'm getting excited. Well, I think I got it figured out. I went and plugged in my phone. I was almost gonna go, well, I was going to go do a refresher on the Fabricator series channel, but while I was waiting for my phone to charge, I think I figured it out. We got this fancy jig set up behind me here. So what I did was took our overall dimensions that we measured in the car. We know the total height is gonna be 45 inches and our total width is gonna be 53 inches. These are outside measurements, not center line measurements. These are outside. So I set up this jig so it's 53 inches wide, and all we need to know is where to place our cheater pipe on the tube to make our mark for a bender. Watch. I can't explain it. I can just do it. So the outside of this flat bar is our maximum width, 53 inches. So you're gonna place this tube, your cheater pipe, on top of your main hoop, and you're just gonna eyeball it till it's the outside of your bend is flush with the outside of your 53 inches. That's gonna put it tight up against the car, and we're doing a 1/2 inch tolerance for inspection mirrors and looky-loos and whatnot. So we'll subtract 1/2 inch from that mark and throw it in the bender. Well, wait. Since we started bending from the center, these legs are the same length. So we're gonna move this mark up to, right now it's at 31 1/8. We'll move it up to 31 5/8. And our bend needs to be on this side of the line. It's gonna be 27 degrees. Double check, 31 5/8. Try not to bump into my jig. And our bend needs to be on this side. So, I'll get this stuff picked up and moved back around and the camera moved and load this thing in the bender and we'll bend it and then put it in the car. Ah! Skirt, skirt, bang, bang. That's it. That's all I want. Well, here we go. I'll see if I did it right. Whoops. Again, that's why the Challenger's in the air. I'm just gonna preload it because we gotta zero everything out to make sure all the bends are on the same plane. Okay. Your bender doesn't necessarily have to be level, just everything has to be whatever plane it's on, which all of this is sitting on 1 degree. So we're gonna go for a 27 degree bend. So it should be 44. Yeah, does that look right? It does. So we're gonna land on 44. Woo! All right, let's do the other side. It's scary. That office chair is really coming in handy. I'll just snug everything up and dial everything in again. Still sitting on a degree. This thing bounces way too much. It looks right. It doesn't look quite 90. Yeah, I need to do these a little bit more. See what angle they're at. It only ended up 15 degrees. It needs to be 27. I don't like loading it back in the dies again. It's hard to get it right back in the same spot. But we'll do it anyway. That says 44 degrees. It only bent those lower ones 15 degrees. Well, let's see if it fits. It's not bad, we just need to add a couple more degrees to those bottom legs. I should have checked those top ones to make sure they turned out 67 before I assumed that they did. Now we got our 53 minus our ½ inch tolerances. Turned out 52. Oh, that hurt. We'll bring you over here so you can see what it looks like. So she can't say shit from over there. That hurt. Well guys, here's the partial main hoop. It still needs a diagonal brace, a shoulder harness bar, and other things, but it's a start. It turned out pretty decent. It'll sit up higher than that. It'll actually sit up on rocker boxes. So I'll be cutting off about 5 inches of it on both sides. But it turned out pretty good. I'm gonna get my hand out of the way. It's a really good start. It's nice and clean. I'm gonna try and keep it that way throughout the rest of the cage. I learned a lot just off this one main hoop. So yeah, I'm gonna quit here tonight, but thanks for coming by. I always appreciate it. If you didn't learn anything, go to the Fabricator series. You'll learn something there. If you wanna see me fumble through it, come back and subscribe. We'll see you later.